Donald Trump has never looked more panicked than he does right now. And when Trump panics, we know exactly what happens. He lies, he fearmongers, he tries to distract, and he desperately tells people to look over there. That's exactly what's happening in the middle of his Epstein scandal, which is why he just released a surprise video announcement from the Oval Office. Yes, out of nowhere, Trump posted a video clearly aimed at shifting the conversation as the scandal continues to grow. It's a sign of just how chaotic things have become inside the White House, with this controversy threatening to derail his presidency entirely. And we're going to break it all down. But before we get into the details of Trump's announcement and what it reveals about just how much he's panicking, I want to start with something that should worry him even more. Brand new Epstein document releases that are on the way. Representative Robert Garcia explained it perfectly right here.
President, we reviewed the whole document transcript that got sent to us last night. And we have been pushing James Comer and the Republicans every single step of the way to do the right thing. We demanded Alex Acosta to come in front of the committee. That's going to happen in just over a week. We forced a subpoena vote in a committee for a release of the full files. Their leadership did not support that. We made them vote and get there. We are the ones that demanded the Epstein estate book and the documents, and we finally got it. The truth is that James Comer and the oversight Republicans have no idea how to deal with an aggressive, next generation, forceful oversight committee that is going to work every single day to get the truth. And they are up against a force on that committee that is right now focused on censoring the victims, getting justice, and bringing the fire every single day. Donald Trump needs to understand that we will not rest until we get justice and the truth comes out.
In that same statement, Comer says Democrats are ignoring new information the committee received and says that the committee will pursue additional Epstein bank records based on this new information. What's he talking about? What new information is leading them to pursue bank records now?
First of all, we support the bank records, and we've actually been making the request of Comer and the Republicans to actually secure bank records that Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, and many others we believe there's a lot of connection there. And so we've actually asked for those same records. So yes, bring it on, bring the records. What is also really true and really clear is that they're actually not interested in actually the truth. Why do they keep diverting our pressure to get the information from DOJ? Pam Bondi right now has the whole Epstein file apparently on her desk. She has told Donald Trump that he's actually in the files mentioned numerous times. That's been reported. Why are they scared to release the full files? Why are they scared to give the American public the truth? And I think that at the end of the day, what you're seeing right now by Republicans denying the existence of the letter or saying it's not Donald Trump's.
For far too long, the Democratic Party has needed fearless leadership, the kind we're now seeing from people like Robert Garcia, Jasmine Crockett, and Ro Khanna. They're not only pushing to get files released, but they're also keeping the Epstein story in the spotlight day after day, as every Democrat should. Whether it's on mainstream outlets or independent media, these voices have been relentless in demanding answers, and their persistence is paying off. More information and more files are set to become public even before Democrats retake the House, which would give them the power to expand investigations with full subpoena authority. That means not only bringing in the documents, but also compelling members of Trump's administration to testify under oath about the cover-up. And speaking of the cover-up, it isn't going well. Even today, Trump tried to spin yet another story about his signature, but Representative Greg Casar broke it down in detail right here before we get into Trump's big announcement.
What's your reaction then when you hear the White House press secretary, as you released that, a signature that does bear resemblance to his signature, and she said, as I have said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it. President Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation.
Well, look, when Donald Trump said first this didn't exist, and then we found it, and now he's saying he didn't sign it. His signature just looks just like his own signature. It's like the bank robber who's caught with a bag full of cash and says, I'm not the one who robbed the bank. I mean, everyday Americans just aren't going to keep on buying these sorts of excuses, and we're going to keep investigating this case, not just to have transparency around the president, but transparency around any powerful person in this country who turned a blind eye or was complicit in these horrible crimes, because we know that there are other women that are being trafficked and abused in this sort of way in this country right now. And we need to make sure that we're standing up for all survivors, these survivors and all other survivors in the country right now. And a president or a powerful politician saying nothing to see here, that's a sign that you've got to go look where they're telling you there's nothing to see here.
Congressman Greg Casar, thank you.
Donald Trump, in all of MAGA, trying to justify the false claim that he is not best buddies with Jeffrey Epstein by saying that his signature doesn't look right in a letter in which he signed with a signature that is his, not only shows how little they have to respond to this scandal, but I just have to keep saying this, how stupid they think everyone who supports them is. If you are a Republican voter, Donald Trump thinks that you are a plain and simple. You see farmers right now across the country praying to God that Donald Trump will lift his tariffs because they understand how bad they are. And Donald Trump is going to keep on telling them that I'm going to save your farms and I'm the only one who can do it. And if you believe that, you've kind of got it coming. Like, that is just the long and the short of it. And that is what Donald Trump wants to do right now with this shock announcement that he made, distract from the Epstein files on an issue he really shouldn't be talking about. But let's get into it. Stop this madness. Trump calls for vicious law and order after Charlotte train murder. Donald Trump on Tuesday called for law in order to counteract the senseless crime infecting Democrat-run cities like Charlotte, North Carolina, where the president said liberal policies allowed a deranged monster to recently take the life of a Ukrainian refugee. And we can see Trump spouting off in this clip right here.
For too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people. Really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities need help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again, and that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe. Thank you.
This has now become the latest obsession of right-wing media. And yes, this was a real tragedy, but let's be honest. Does anyone really believe that Donald Trump or his MAGA allies in politics and media genuinely care? These are the same people who stood by and repeated Kremlin talking points while ignoring the suffering of the Ukrainian people. Of course, what happened here is tragic. But Trump doesn't care about crime or about protecting innocent lives. He won't even acknowledge, let alone address, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, people who have bravely shared their stories right outside the Capitol. So when they try to sell the idea that Trump is tough on crime, don't buy it. This is about distraction. Trump wants to shift the focus away from his own scandals, including Epstein, and at the same time play the tough guy role to hide just how weak and cornered he looks right now. But there's another layer here too, and it's one we can't ignore. Trump has been actively building a police state in America, consolidating his power while also enriching his allies. Companies in the private prison industry, surveillance firms like Palantir, and billionaire backers like Peter Thiel, who helped elevate J.D. Vance, are all profiting massively as Trump pushes this agenda. This surveillance state doesn't just give Trump tools to target critics and dissenters. It also makes the wealthiest men around him even richer. That's the terrifying reality of what's being constructed, and Rachel Maddow broke it down in detail right here.
This spring, reporting from Italy showed that spyware made by Paragon was turning up on the phones of immigration activists and at least one journalist and a friend of Pope Francis. Again, the company's called Paragon. The Biden administration last year stopped that company's contract with ICE. And that made a lot of sense when they did that in 2024. It made sense to stop that contract in 2024. It might make sense in 2025 for the U.S. government to still not have contracts with firms like that, right? I mean, under American principles like the right to privacy and free speech and peaceful protest and the Fourth Amendment prohibitions against unreasonable search and seizure, no-click spyware that can surveil everything about you without you knowing, it doesn't make that much sense for our government to have that kind of power. We don't want that stuff turning up on the phones of people in our country, right? Well, I said this was a heads-up kind of segment. Here's the headline that gives us all the heads up on this. Quote, ICE reactivated its $2 million contract with Israeli spyware firm Paragon. This reporting from tech journalist Jack Polson was soon confirmed by Wired, and then it was confirmed by the Washington Post. And it does appear that the Trump administration has decided to reactivate the contract with that spyware company. The Washington Post reports that it's not clear why the contract has been reactivated or what exactly happens next or what ICE is going to do with this type of technology. The Post was unable to get comment from the company in question.
If Democrats can't build a strong message against this kind of surveillance technology and government overreach, then honestly, what are we even doing? This should be an issue we talk about every single day. It's terrifying. The same billionaire who bankrolled J.D. Vance's entire political career, Peter Thiel, a man with deep ties to the intelligence community, now runs a company pulling in massive government contracts to monitor nearly every aspect of our lives. And Donald Trump has been very clear. He'll use that power however he wants, against whoever he wants, whenever he wants. And here's the even scarier part. The Supreme Court has essentially handed Trump free rein to target communities of color, to discriminate based on appearance, language, or who you associate with. If the court has told Trump he can wield power this way, where does it stop? What's to prevent it from expanding into targeting anyone who simply makes Trump uncomfortable, or anyone who dares to speak out against him? That's not hypothetical. It's already happening. We've seen people arrested and silenced for nothing more than protesting government actions or speaking out against Trump's agenda. This isn't conspiracy. It's happening in plain sight, and it's why we're going to keep talking about it on this show every single day. If you want to support that work, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, I will see you soon.